Charlie Vono, and I'll be giving a little talk today about a lot of different things I've done in the Air Force and as a aerospace contractor as part of the total force. And I have just recently retired. I retired back in 2008 from Air Force Reserves. I retired this August from Northrop Grumman Corporation. And so I've got pretty much time now to come and give a plain talk and talk about the things I've done in my career. And since this is sort of an overview and the intent is to give you a taste of some of the places I've worked, what I've got prepared here is some gee whiz photos and some interesting little stories. And then each of one of these three areas, refueling the SR-71, working on a Minuteman, and what's not shown is the inertial upper stage. For each one of those three, I'll come on back and I'll give an entire presentation on each one of those, so three more. And then by that time, my fame will have spread, and I'll do this one again. And but if you don't have one of my cards, if you just came in, I do have a blog that I put out every week that I talk about my little stories. And it's really taken off since I started doing that back in August. And this last week, I actually got 75 people actually read my blog. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. So this is me, Charlie Vono, from Strategic Air Command pilot to space engineer to ICBM aerospace manager. And you probably all recognize this aircraft because a lot of you come to the museum just to see it, SR-71. So that's me right there up in that cockpit. Can't see it on this picture. This is a Minuteman missile flying at night on a test flight. And I always love to use this photo as any presentation I'm giving because it's got those beautiful little bits of flame against the skin of the missile. If you look closely, that's real. It comes out of that silo, and it's pretty darn dramatic. So wake up. I've tried to keep these slides going. I've got 32 slides. I'll try to keep them going quickly so after about 30-40 minutes we'll be done and you can get on with your day. But I always like to start discussing my career or the weapon systems that I worked with by reminding people, and this is a great cross-section because some of you guys are as old as me. A couple, Fred, are older. And you probably remember, like I do as a kid, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but when I was a kid, born in 1952, and growing up during that post-World War II period as one of the baby boomers, there was a real feeling of optimism and excitement and new things. My dad had the first black and white TV in our little town of Wasco with 7,000 people. He put an antenna that went way up high enough to catch the only stations he could get, which were coming out of Los Angeles, and they had to kind of pick it up coming out over the grapevine. But this is, I think this poem by Dorothy Rowe sort of captures it perfectly, that mood that people had at that time. After the war, we'll just press a button for food or drink, for washing the dishes or cleaning the sink. We'll ride in a rocket instead of a car. And life will be streamlined after the war. And it certainly was streamlined. All the cars, of course, they tried to make them look like jets. And the promise really came true. I mean, we had wonderful refrigerators, and we had push buttons everywhere to get things done. And boy, the Atlas missiles and the X-15s, and you might not be able to tell, but that aircraft is powered by a nuclear pile. They didn't actually ever build that one, but they had drawings of airplanes that were going to be nuclear powered. Just amazing things, and they were building some of them. This is, of course, me at an early age, enjoying a little Air Force aircraft that they had actually set up at a playground for kids to play on. And I had a Steve Canyon helmet and ran around the backyard yelling, zoom, zoom. But the other thing that World War II taught us was that we weren't really safe from bombs and bombardment from the air. That's something that a lot of people don't remember or never experienced, that terrible feeling of suddenly realizing after the war that people could drop bombs anywhere in the world and destroy homes and destroy cities. And we had really, helped develop that technology ourselves to be able to fly precision daylight bombing and take out rail yards and ports and things like that. And that was bad enough, that Curtis LeMay could lead firebombing over Tokyo and kill 10,000 people in one night. But what happened to end the war was Hiroshima. Now you could just cripple an entire city with one bomb, one airplane. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, the Soviets launch a satellite into space, and they're flying right over our country with impunity. Why couldn't they drop a bomb just as easily? So there was a lot of concern, a lot of fear, and a lot of new military doctrine to try to deal with that. And that's what kicked off the Cold War.